Kelly Clark, the Director of Communications for the Bradenton Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. I'd like to thank you all for being here today. I'm going to quickly introduce our speakers, starting with the Convention and Visitors Bureau Executive Director, Elliot Falcioni. He's going to be talking about the 2016 tourism numbers, as well as give an overview of the first quarter for 2017. He'll also touch on the challenges for tourism in the year 2017. Next, we'll transition into to talk to Director of Project Development at In Development Partners LLC, Tony DeRusso. He's going to give an update of the Convention Center Hotel, and as well as show never-before-seen renderings of the hotel. And then Interstate Executive Vice President of Sales and Marketing, George Brennan, will speak on the future Convention Center Hotel's impact on the community. And we also have Managing Director of In Development, Steve Goodman, here for a question and answer. And after that, we'd ask you to stay to do some one-on-one interviews if you're available, and we'll also have a Q&A. Okay.
Do I have a, just hit the return? Yeah, great. METV, do you need this microphone? I do. You do, okay. I know I'm not a loudspeaker, so good afternoon, everybody. Really, it's a pleasure to see everybody here. For the media, there's a lot of elected officials here. If you want to interview, Mayor Shirley Bryant's here, Chairman of our board, Betsy Benak is here, Steve Johnson, and Carol Whitmore is here. Charles Smith is here, and Charles's brother, Mr. Smith, city councilman from Palmetto. First time I met Harold, and he's going to negotiate that Charles can be my bodyguard on part-time basis, so we're on our way. So anyway, with that, thank you for all being here. Wanted to share with you a little bit of a recap of 2016, and it all looks good. Once again, another year, fifth year, record-breaking success. We play a little small piece of that puzzle, so we're not here to say that we're creating all this visitation for the greater good of the community. But we're up, a few percent, pretty consistent of the west coast of Florida. And the key is the lodging visitation. Just under 700,000 visitors stayed in 6,200 rooms throughout Manatee County. The good news is we were seeing a lot of growth in average room rate, and you can see that on the bottom right slide. So that's up 4%. So there's good demand, and with good demand comes compression, and with compression gives the hoteliers the ability to increase their rates. And there's been a trend there for 5 years of seeing that happen. Now, we're going to be adding almost 700 rooms to the community in the next 2.5, 3 years. It's going to be more important to continue to diversify, target the right market that can afford our products that we'll be adding to continue to grow that average daily rates. Because at the end of the day, they got to make money on those room rates so they can continue to maintain those rooms and provide a quality product for our visitors. Keep in mind, and you've all heard me say it before, I'll continue to say it, we target first-time visitors to the Bradenton area. Why is that? They come back 94% of the time within a year for a second vacation. At that point, it becomes a tradition, they fall in love with it, and then they start saying, let's buy a home, either part-time or full-time, and some of them say, let's buy a business or move a business here. That's what makes Florida great. It's the #1 industry that helps sustain the quality of life for our residents through that business. Okay, feeder markets are kind of interesting because it's changed a little bit. With our relationship with Pittsburgh becoming sister cities, gosh, now almost 5 years ago, with the partnerships with the Pirates and now the Pittsburgh Penguins and CBS Radio Pittsburgh, we have a year-round brand awareness in the Pittsburgh metro area. And 5 years ago, Pittsburgh would surface in the top 10 for 60 days. You know what 60 days it was during spring training. And then they would disappear the rest of the year. Now they're sustaining a top 10 feeder market on a year-round basis. It's been so good, so strong, that we are working with Sarasota Bradenton Airport, and we believe we're on the cusp of finally getting a nonstop flight back during spring training at least, or 90 days. And then we think that that'll become a year-round service. Remember, back in the early 90s, U.S. Airways used to fly nonstop seasonal from Sarasota, Bradenton to Pittsburgh. So we believe that's going to come back, which will really help, bring more Pittsburghers to the area. Indianapolis and Cleveland are in those rectangular boxes because they're new to the top 10 as well. If you look at the west coast of Florida, the Midwest has surfaced a little bit more stronger this year. Visit Florida's worked hard as well as our West Coast partners. How do we continue to grow those markets? Sarasota Bradenton doesn't have nonstop flights to cities like Indianapolis and Cleveland, in Detroit. So we're going to work with Southwest Airlines that flies nonstop to Tampa International, and begin that partnership, because if we work hard with them now, and as demand continues to increase in Tampa, we hope that they'll eventually look at the Sarasota Bradenton International Airport. A lot of the domestic and international markets are all on a vertical trajectory. Canada, you all know the loonie has eroded against the American dollar. Quite candidly, we love our Canadians, mainly Canadians from Ontario. That's our top feeder market. We are so happy that Air Canada and WestJet are now flying into Sarasota Bradenton. But that market probably spends the less amount per day than any other visitor we target. Do we totally shun them? Absolutely not. But we're careful of where we put our marketing equity around the globe. So we're really doing public relations efforts, some social media efforts, and we'll build upon that. But we have to go into markets that's going to bring a higher daily spend to our community. And we'll get into that in a few minutes. Markets of opportunity means it's markets that are ripe for people to come into the Bradenton area, but we're not putting marketing, advertising, strong equity into it. Give you an example, Dallas is a strong market of opportunity for us. We hope the airport gets a nonstop flight from Dallas to Sarasota Bradenton. We think we're on the cusp of that. Scandinavia is another market of opportunity, so we do some public relations efforts there. Ireland is now surfacing back as a market of opportunity, but we can't put hard advertising dollars in those markets because it'll compromise our top feeder markets that we're in already. So as I've said in the past, marketing has a little bit of science and a lot of art. So you really have to be artistic to be able to shift like that. And so far it's working. Visitors, once again, the last 5 years, you're seeing a trajectory growth. And when we say 3 million people, it's not 3 million people staying in short-term rental accommodations. It's friends, visitors, relatives, people that are staying in your homes, even snowbirds that are coming here. 3 million people is a lot of people, and we see sometimes the stress on our roads from our wonderful visitors that come here. The economic impact, now over $1 billion. It's a lot of money, folks. Number one industry that really supports the quality of life for the residents that live here. Why do we say it supports the quality of life? Well, out of that economic impact, almost 48 million is sales tax generation from a visitor. What is sales tax used for? It pays for community services for our residents that live here. You take that away, you can't survive on property tax alone. So please keep that in mind. If you believe in visitation, be ambassadors for us. There's your room rate growth, up to 168 on a year-round basis. Gosh, you mean you're saying that in August, the average rate is going to be around 168? It's incredible. But we have to target the right person, okay? We're not going to target somebody that can only afford a Chevy, and we offer a Mercedes-Benz here, okay? So we're targeting now, last year we targeted a household income of $125,000 household income. This year, we're going to bump that up to about 130, 135. And there's a lot of good for that, because that's the kind of visitor that hopefully will convert to a real estate owner that'll appreciate the land that we own, the real estate that we own, or become a business owner as well. Why is tourism important to the entire county? Is it sustains jobs. 25 million or 25,000 and change in jobs in the hospitality industry. So no matter where you live, whether it's the urban core or East County or even on the island, there are 25,000 people in our community that have a job in the hospitality industry. So essentially, tourism serves all communities, all corridors. And this is where we really need to embrace the University of South Florida School of Hospitality and Leadership, because we need to get our kids graduating from high school, get them into that program, especially if they were born here, get them in the hospitality program, getting them to work internships in our hospitality industry, and then keeping them here with good quality full-time jobs. So important. We have a lot of native employees in our department, and there's nothing better to be abroad and tell the story about our beautiful community, the community that they grew up in. Okay, just to get into our visitor demographic a little bit more. So there's that, we're targeting 125,000 household income. You're still seeing growth at the end of the day. It's 114,000. So we're seeing some good growth there. You're now pretty flat on 49 years old. So the Gen X's, do we still have a baby boomer market? Oh, absolutely. Do we have a millennial market? Not yet, but we're planting some seeds with them through social media. But you're going to start seeing a shift away from boomers in the next 5 years and more towards Gen X's. And that's going to be our lifeblood at that point. So still more of a couples family destination. We're not South Beach. We'll never be South Beach. We don't ever want to be South Beach. We want that old, real Florida character, detox environment, get away, enjoy Florida like it once was 20, 30 years ago with modern day accommodations. And we need to protect that brand. We need to protect our community from that brand eroding. Okay, a little bit of breakdown. Once again, the visitors, all up pointing north. When the media calls me, essentially we're flat. This projection from Dr. Walter Klages for this calendar year, things can change quickly. We could be in the middle of a war. We could have an economic slide. We can have an adverse situation in the U.S. that the water can shut off. I get disturbed when I wake up in the morning and the headline in the Tampa news, because I think there's all Bradenton, Sarasota media here, and it says Florida's on fire. Okay, now think about that. If you love the Bradenton area and you live in Atlanta or Pittsburgh or Philadelphia, and like me, I read Pittsburgh news every day, and I'm sitting up there and I see Florida's on fire. Oh my gosh, now is Florida on fire? No. There's fires around Florida, but Florida's not on fire. That is a public relations nightmare. So they may look somewhere else. Oh my gosh, Florida's on fire. Honey, let's go to California. Let's go to Phoenix. Let's go to the Bahamas. Little things like that can cost us a lot of market share and money. Okay, so far the first quarter is looking good, and in the second quarter, pretty much the same. We're pretty much consistent with the Visit Florida numbers, the Sarasota numbers, the Clearwater numbers, but everything is looking pretty consistent this year. If everything is status quo, we should end up by the end of the calendar year either flat or 2% up, and that's okay, because look how far we've all come in the past 5 years. Okay, just from a statewide standpoint, sometimes these numbers are so large I don't like to show them because it's perceived as unbelievable. But you had 112 million visitors to the state of Florida. So when people say, oh my gosh, your CVB is doing either too good or really good, you know what? It starts at the state level. They bring awareness to the state of Florida. It's our job to pull them in from there. And once we get them to the county line, it's actually the industry's job to pull them to their businesses. Okay, but now the budget's going to go from 76 million to 25 million, and Florida is going to lose the ability to keep top of mind in the marketplace. I guarantee you California and New York will send us all Christmas cards every year or thank you cards for the budget being reduced in Florida. And that's the honest to God truth. You know why? It's not what Elliott believes. Case study will prove that if you don't continue to market your brand, others will gain market share on you, and when time gets tough, you will lose, okay? And Florida is going to lose to California and New York. They'll be out of markets like China and India and Russia. We pray that they don't pull out of Central Europe and the United Kingdom, because those are our two top international feeder markets. Remember, those markets spend more money per day and stay longer than any other visitor that we target. And they come in the fall when our businesses need to sustain their employee base. Okay? And for the media and anybody else who would like this PowerPoint, we will share it. Going to a local level here, it's kind of a reiteration, but just some projects that help are paid for by tourism that are recent. We're on the cusp of bringing to the Board of County Commissioners, hopefully May 23rd, the Florida Railroad Museum in Parrish. They're looking to expand. It's going to be beautiful. The TDC unanimously recommended it last month. It'll be one of a kind in the state of Florida. And you know what? Tourism, the tourists paid for it. The Bradenton Beach Pier, if you haven't been out there, go out there. It's beautiful on the bay. Anna Maria Oyster Bar is out there. It's really helped enhance Bridge Street. And guess what? Tourism paid for it, and the Community Redevelopment Agency paid for it. So, and what we like about that, and even this convention center, $6.5 million renovation 5 years ago, and we as residents didn't pay for it. So what a great deal when you can do something that not only benefits the visitors, but benefits the residents as well, and it's not costing the residents money. That is the best win-win deal that you can have. So tourism essentially helps sustain and enhance the quality of life for our residents. Just some challenges. I'm not a gloom and doom kind of person, but it's important that everyone's aware of the challenges. Of course, you all know about the exchange rate. The euro has significantly weakened against the American dollar. You had the Brexit issue in the United Kingdom. Here's the good news is we target a demographic that usually is not affected by an exchange rate or a Brexit. The challenge is they may stay less days and spend less while here. Where they used to bring that empty suitcase and go shopping at the outlet mall and fill it up, they may not do that anymore because they're not getting the great deal that they got 2-3 years ago. The other concern is that a lot of people don't think of is our Chicago, New York, Boston feeder markets who traditionally come to the state of Florida for vacation now have that rare opportunity to go to Europe because it's a great deal. So we got to look at that from that perspective as well. So we're going to keep on that. We're probably going to invest more money into the European market because sometimes during adversity, if you invest more, you can gain market share on your competitors. Because there are some competitors that will shift gears and walk away from it to try to get a quick ROI somewhere else. We're not inclined to do that because we know the advantages, the benefits, the high ceiling that we have in the Brits and in the Central Europeans as well. We've talked about it many times. The coastal communities are concerned about traffic, mainly on the islands. The best thing I can tell you is we're cognizant of it. The TDC and our office is very sincere about how we create brand awareness during the spring season. When the media calls me and says, tell me how spring break was, I said, we don't have a spring break. We never put the two words together. We have a spring season. And so we're trying to manage that. But the challenge is when you have great hospitality businesses that know how to market through digital media and social media, they're generating the traffic as well. But we're working with the municipalities and Manatee County government to continue to work on multimodal transportation because that's the answer to the challenge. Because we have to sustain visitation to keep those beautiful businesses alive. Okay, with that, I like to talk, and you all know that. So instead of me taking one-on-one questions at this point, we're going to go ahead and segue to something I think more exciting because these guys will speak a lot more dynamically and charismatically than I ever will. But I think most of you are here to see the first ever look at the 360 of the Convention Center Hotel. David Teitelbaum, who's on the TDC, a great developer of hotels and resorts, brought these two guys to us, Stephen Goodman and Tony DeRusso. And, you know, it didn't take us an hour after they were awarded the contract They have great character. They're very transparent. They have passion. They are just good quality businessmen that we have meshed really, really well. They are going to bring incredible business to this urban core. It's another seed to get this urban core where it needs to be in Palmetto and Bradenton. So with that, I'm going to introduce Tony DeRusso, and he's going to show you some neat things. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Elliot. I don't think I can. Well, I don't think I can be as dynamic actually as Elliot. I'll try to live up to the to the introduction. But there is definitely a lot of passion involved in this project, and he was talking a lot about the community and visitors, how they come a first time, and then they want to come a second time. Well, I have a personal story about that myself. The first time that I came here, being from California, I didn't know a lot about the community, and I know I've shared this before, but the first time that I came here, I said, you know what, I kind of like it here, and it's evolved into I've had to have my family come. I've brought my three boys, my children who've come, and it's just turned into a little bit of a playground for them as well. So I love the community here. I feel like a member. I've gotten to know a lot of people here, and this is a great place, and there's a reason why the numbers are doing good for the tourism. So today, as Elliot said, I am Tony DeRusso from In Development Partners, and we are working on the headquarters Sheraton Hotel that's being built on the site here. And really we're here for a few reasons, and mostly is to kind of give you an update on where we're at. I know it's hard when you don't see a lot of work. You know, you look out here and there's like, well, what are those guys doing? You know, we signed contracts with them back in January. Where are we at? And the reality is there's been a lot of work. And I'd actually like to start by thanking and kind of recognizing actually a lot of our partners on the development team. Some could be here, some cannot. From Sandvik Architects, we have Jonathan Sandvik, Amy, Bob, and Linda. From Clark Construction, we have Sid, James, and Bob. And Sid and Bob had the opportunity to come and join us today. We have Mr. Gaz from Gaz and Associates. He's been instrumental. He's here. We also have Denise Greer, from King Engineering. She's been absolutely amazing. We have Lisa and her team from the Marriott Hotel Group. We have an incredible group from Interstate Hotels. You're going to hear a little bit in a minute from George Brennan, and just the power of experience that this team is bringing. Honestly, I've been humbled and honored to be a part of working with these guys. I've learned a lot. I've grown a lot. I'm challenged. They're amazingly talented and knowledgeable people. So we've got a really, really good team involved on this project, and there is a lot of work that's been going on kind of behind the scenes. And I think today we're going to release our 3D architectural walkthrough of the actual project, which is it's exciting for me as it helps bring the vision into reality. I think you guys will be able to see a lot more detail about where the project is at. So we'll release that. Also included in the media kits is the design narrative for the hotel, which is an important milestone also for the project, as it has a lot to do with the design, obviously. But the direction that we're going with Marriott, and the look and the feel of not only the exterior, which you're going to see a lot of, but also the interior. We're also announcing today the actual official engagement of Interstate Hotels and Resorts. And George Brennan, we'll talk a little bit about their experience, but they do manage over 430 hotels and conference centers worldwide with over 76,000 rooms. And I got to tell you, the Interstate team has already made a big impact to the project. They've already provided a lot of intelligence, and I'm really looking forward to the partnership that we have with them, and then also commingling with the convention center staff, etc. So a little details on the project. The Bradenton Area Convention Center Hotel project does total approximately 201,800 square feet. That number has changed a little here and there as we've been programming some of the interiors. And also included in that is 17,000 square feet of meeting space. A portion of that is a grand ballroom, which is just over 9,000 square feet, and a junior ballroom, which is just under 4,000 square feet. And the remainder of the space is kind of breakup space. And also included is going to be a 3-meal restaurant. It's about 3,500 square feet, totaling 225 seats. We are also planning a rooftop bar and lounge. You're going to see included in this video is some drone footage of what the view is like from the 7th story. And so we were fortunate enough through our friend Jeff Burton to be able to get a drone out here and get some footage of what the actual view is going to be, and it'll help you hopefully visualize a little bit about what that rooftop lounge is going to include. And as we've mentioned before, we're also going to be including concierge services to direct our patrons into the community, which is pretty exciting. You know, I think and I've had a lot of conversations directly with Elliot, is one of the unique things about the community is the amount of things that you guys have to offer. The problem that we see here versus a New York or or even a Pittsburgh is it's all drive-to locations. It's not in one central location where you can just hop on a taxi or an Uber to get there. It's a little bit more challenging. So that concierge service is a little unique for the project, and I'm excited watching that come to fruition also. We do know that this project is going to impact the local workforce and will add jobs, resulting obviously in a positive impact to the economy. Our original count is that we do know that it's going to generate over 250 full-time jobs, of which a large majority will be looking at the local market for that. We talked a lot about the development team. The other aspect of this project, which has been exciting, is we work really closely with the Bradenton Area Convention Center staff. Elliot and Sable and the entire team have been included in the planning and the coordination, and that's been really exciting. Also, we've been working very closely with the mayor of the city of Palmetto. Shirley Bryan is here, and city attorney Mark Barnaby. And their entire team at the city. I mean, we're involved with them on a weekly basis or on a call. So very, very grateful for their participation in the project as well as their involvement. And the mayor's been quoted as saying, Palmetto is looking forward to being home to the premier full-service hotel in Manatee County. We anticipate that it will serve as the catalyst for our local economy and accommodate the visitors' needs for the convention center and attractions countywide. I think that's really well said. And with that, I'm going to introduce George Brennan. We will be available for questions and answers. Actually, first I'm going to show the video, and then I'm going to introduce George, because
why don't we wait till tomorrow and show the video?
We could show it tomorrow. Let's go ahead and look at the video. I never caught more scrutiny over anything than the music, so thankfully, here we go. I think are impactful to the community. One is the extension of 7th Street. When we saw that long drive down that road, that is the 7th Street extension that we've been talking about. And then we've also included in there a roundabout. I know that that's been another one of high importance kind of to the community. And the landscaping plan is another one that Mr. Gaz has worked very hard on helping us. So yeah, we're excited, and we just really wanted to show you guys the progress that we've worked on. In the back, there was media kits. It looks like they've all been picked up. In there is the actual copy of the design narrative, which you saw the proposed interior, but there's a lot more that goes along with that proposed interior, as well as a little flash drive of the video. And also just happy to report that we are on schedule to break ground on the temporary parking. As you know, this is a phased construction project, but we are scheduled to break ground on the temporary parking for the convention center in the fall of this year. Currently, it is scheduled for September of 2017, and with the hotel opening in November of 2019. That's currently and we are on schedule with those dates as proposed. So with that being said, I'm going to introduce our friends from Interstate, Mr. George Brennan.
Hello, good to be here. As Tony mentioned, Interstate is a large hotel management company. I'll take a little bit of a moment to talk about that. Many people recognize the names of Sheraton and Westin and Marriott and Hilton, and most don't know that there is usually a management company behind that is actually operating the property for whoever the owner is, and we do a lot of that. We are the largest at what we do. We've been around for 55 years, partnering with the brands. We are the largest operator now for what has become a combined organization between Marriott and what was Starwood. Sheraton, Westin were all part of Starwood. Last year, Marriott actually acquired Starwood. So it's they are now the large big operator, and we are the largest operator of those hotels for them. Some 160 all in, just with the combination of Marriott and Starwood. And we're in all of the major markets, but we're also in many markets like this. We operate convention center hotels in places like Philadelphia and New Orleans and Los Angeles that are big, but we're also in places like Raleigh-Durham. We run the Renaissance in Fort Lauderdale, which is the headquarters hotel for that. We're in Macon, Georgia, at the convention center there. We're in Ann Arbor, Michigan. So our experience spans not only all of the different brands, but big hotels, large markets, medium-sized markets like this. And so this is something that we have a great deal of experience in. And it isn't just having the experience in the relationships, but it's also having the ability to have people who have done and operated projects exactly like this, who are in there now, who, by the way, we'll have a lot of people interested in coming here, to the Bradenton Palmetto area. So that's a key. And we really look forward to this. We operate over 25 hotels in Florida alone. We've been here in every part of whether it's Tampa, Orlando, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Jacksonville. So we bring a great deal of experience and understanding of this market, which is a market that doesn't behave like all other markets. It's extremely seasonal, as I know Elliot has referred to. But at the same time, it's one of the most dynamic growth markets in the United States, and will continue to be so. The population growth, the tourism growth, the overall development and interest, not just domestically but internationally in a project like this, quite frankly, is very desirable. It's desirable, and I'll tell you right from the start, as we look at this, because one of the things that is occurring in our business, the hospitality business, is big city travel is becoming very expensive. And organizations that will use this facility, the convention center and the hotel, are organizations that recognize that rather than having a single big large event in Chicago or Denver or Los Angeles, they're now breaking those up. We're seeing that more and more. And they're looking at the desirability of the cost of travel, the cost of airfare, or by breaking these up, more people are able to get to these events without having to spend for very high cost, high expensive air travel, and the cost of once they get there, everything that's involved. So this is a project that it parallels others that we have like this. We have a very similar project like this in Myrtle Beach, where we have a Sheraton, which is was actually right there, the headquarters hotel attached. It's actually run by the Myrtle Beach Authority, owned by, we run it for them. But others are like this in Macon, Georgia, in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, very similar project. And I know many of the team members have been up there to see that, where we do the same thing. So we're very experienced in all aspects of hospitality, but in this particular type of operation as well. And from the looks of the video, this is just a great location here. The synergy that'll be available between the location of the hotel and this facility will bring a lot of the type of business that's already in Florida. It's already moving around. Numerous types of associations would probably be one of the prime targets. And these are public associations, private associations, governmental associations who like to move around within their state, and will find this facility is very desirable. There are also numerous other types of organizations that do a lot of training, that do a lot of events that involve activity, motivational type events that use facilities like this that we operate. Then you have corporations now that clearly, from the looks of the hotel, you can see the hotel itself will have the ability through its meeting space and to work in concert here. So there's a wide array of potential customers that, from a positioning point of view, compared to the high cost of several other markets, to just the convenience of being here, that I think will find it advantageous. Kelly, back to you.
I think we have a few minutes here. If while everyone's together, if anybody has any questions, we can throw them out right now. Then afterwards, we're available for one-on-one interviews. Like I said, the mayor's here. Actually, Jack Ronerson's on our Tourist Development Council, so we do have representation from the TDC here. I'll alert you that Barry Strafacci is here. He's one of our consultants for the convention center. Barry's probably opened more convention centers around the world than anybody I know. So if you want to get that perspective, I'm sure Barry would be happy to chat with you as well. So anybody have any questions right now that they may want to ask the panel members? With that, we will thank you for your time, and we're available for questions right now. Thank you.